New GPU memory just got twice as expensive per gigabyte. Used GPU memory barely moved. By one industry estimate, more than $800 of a new RTX 5090's street price is now just the memory on it. Nvidia is reportedly floating the idea of shipping cards without any. Every outlet is covering this as a gaming story. Your next graphics card costs more. But if you run AI models at home, or you are deciding right now between buying a card and renting one in the cloud, the number that actually matters is different. Dollars per gigabyte of RAM, new versus used. Nobody has published that math side by side, so today we run it. Every number captured dated, every source on screen. This is Wolf Stedman at the local ceiling, where we test the claims everyone else just repeats. Let's get into it. Start with what happened. In July of 2026, AMD raised what it charges its board partners for GPU memory kits by about 10%. That does not sound huge, until you realize it is the second increase in about 6 months. And under that 10% sits something bigger. The spot price of the actual GDDR6 memory chips has roughly tripled, from around $2.50 a gigabyte to about $7.50. Here is the demand side. Market researcher IDC is forecasting that AI data centers will consume roughly 70% of all memory chip output in 2026. That is not a GPU story. That is every phone, laptop, car, and TV competing for the leftover 30% of a supply base that used to be balanced. Memory makers are shifting wafer capacity toward HBM, the stacked memory that goes into AI accelerators, and away from the everyday GDDR and DRAM that goes into your PC. Less capacity for consumer memory, same or growing demand, and prices move exactly the way you would expect. And it is not just RAM. NAND flash, about 90% of what an SSD costs, is in the same fight for wafers. Last video, we showed you a disk that could not keep up with a giant model. The 1 terabyte NVMe drive we priced for that test has doubled, $90 then, about $180 now, and market trackers put the average NVMe increase at roughly 115% in a few months. The whole memory hierarchy is being repriced at once. One thing has to be said clearly here, because it is the easiest way to get this story wrong. The AMD hike is a GDDR6 story. The RTX 5090 runs on GDDR7, a different memory type entirely. Wholesale sourcing on GDDR7 has also climbed, but through its own cost structure, with AI infrastructure competing indirectly through HBM and fab capacity. Not the same mechanism as the AMD kit hike. So, the correct framing is not. The GDDR6 hike made the 5090 expensive. It is a memory shortage that started elsewhere widened a value gap that already existed between new and used cards. Keep that distinction in your head for the rest of this video. It matters. So what does new actually cost right now? Street prices on the RTX 5090 have been running well above its original launch price, commonly in the $2,900 to $3,500 range for board partner cards, with premium and liquid-cooled variants pushing past $5,000. Run the per gigabyte math on a 32 gigabyte card. At typical street pricing, that is roughly $90 per gigabyte at the low end, and around $110 at the high end. Step up to the premium variants past $5,000, and you are at $140 per gigabyte and up. And here is how much of that is the memory itself. By one industry estimate, the VRAM alone now accounts for roughly $820 of the card street price, and Nvidia has reportedly floated shipping partners GPU dies without memory, so-called paper cards, and letting them source their own. When the chip maker starts decoupling the memory from the GPU, the memory is the story. Now, put it next to the used market, because this is the number nobody has published together in one place. A used RTX 3090, 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X, still a fast card for local inference. It has been trading in the roughly $1,200 to $1,400 range on marketplaces like eBay. That works out to somewhere around $50 per gigabyte. A used Tesla P40, a 2016 data center card, also 24 gigabytes. It trades anywhere from roughly $200 to $400 depending on condition and seller. That lands somewhere in the $8 to $17 per gigabyte range. And the dark horse almost nobody prices, a used Tesla V100, Nvidia's 2017 data center flagship. The 32 gigabyte version with HBM2 memory has been trading around $650 to $800. Call it $23 per gigabyte, with tensor cores and memory bandwidth in the same class as a 3090. Line them up. New 5090, around $90 per gigabyte at the low end of street pricing, $140 and up at the premium end. Used 3090, around $50. Used V100, low 20s. Used P40, low double digits, sometimes single digits. The shortage did not just make new cards more expensive. It stretched the gap between new and used wider than it was 6 months ago, because the used market runs on cards that were already built. Sitting in a supply chain, the GDDR6 shortage does not touch. 3 things the comments will bring up if we do not say them first. 1. Capacity is not the only axis, and the 5090's extra 8 gigabytes is not nothing. On a large context window with a mid-sized model, a 24 gigabyte card can run out of room where a 32 gigabyte card handles it cleanly. If your workload needs that headroom, dollar per gigabyte does not capture it. You are paying for a ceiling you would otherwise hit. It is the value axis here, not the only axis. 2. The P40 and the V100 are data center cards. They have no fans of their own. They were built for a server chassis with screaming front-to-back airflow. Drop one into a desktop tower with no ducted fan or aftermarket shroud, and it will cook itself. Budget another $30 to $50 and some noise for cooling. 3. And this one changed just this year. CUDA 13 is out, and it officially dropped compiler and library support for Maxwell, Pascal, and Volta. That is the P40 and the V100 both. This is not a someday problem anymore. Software built on the CUDA 12 toolkits keeps working, and today's inference stacks still run these cards fine. But new toolkit releases no longer target them, and one day the frameworks will follow. The P40 still wins on sticker price per gigabyte. It does not win on throughput or software runway. Call it what it is: the cheapest capacity, not the cheapest capability. Here is the part that ties it together. If buying got more expensive, why not just rent? Cloud GPU rental has not moved with this shortage. H100 hourly rates have been running around $3 an hour on median, and A100 spot pricing closer to $1 an hour. Flat to declining, because cloud providers run on enterprise DRAM and HBM supply, the exact memory tier that is insulated from this consumer shortage, not squeezed by it. So the rent versus buy break-even, the point where enough cumulative usage hours make owning a card cheaper than renting one, has not shifted because cloud got cheaper. It shifted because buying got more expensive, on the new card side only. Used cards still buy you the same hours to break-even math you would have run 6 months ago. New cards need meaningfully more hours logged before they pencil out. So where does that leave the math today for someone building a local inference box on a budget? A new 5090 no longer pencils out for pure inference work. You are paying data center adjacent prices for a gaming card supply chain. A used 3090 is the safe sweet spot. Real speed, real tensor cores, a current software stack, and $1 per gigabyte number the shortage barely touched. A used V100 is the value play. 32 gigabytes, tensor cores, 3090 class bandwidth at around $23 per gigabyte. If you can duct a fan onto it, and you can live on the CUDA 12 stack, it is the strongest capability per dollar on this list. We run one ourselves. A P40 is your capacity floor. cheap gigabytes if you accept its bandwidth, and the same cooling and runway caveats. And if your usage is spiky rather than constant, renting still makes sense, because the cloud side of this market has not moved at all. That is the math as of today, July 15th, 2026. This is a fast-moving market. These numbers were current the day we filmed, and they will keep shifting as the shortage plays out. Industry analysts do not expect real relief before late 2027. If you want us to track this and revisit the math when the numbers move meaningfully, tell us in the comments. When real pricing data lands that changes this picture, we will cover it. Subscribe if you want the tested tier numbers as they land, not the hype tier headlines. For the local ceiling, I'm Wolf Stedman.